So I probably spent an hour uh, getting one of these things off. So that hose is replaced. The return line hose is replaced. But this one, I don't know if you can see it, that one right there. Someone in their infinite wisdom, and I'm not quite sure if it's because of the fan shroud yet, and I'll have to see, but must have put the hose on before they put the radiator in, because the screw part was up here. Well, it was so rusty and nasty that I actually had to take a Dremel, get up in there, and cut that apart to get that off. So that took almost an hour, because just trying to get up in that spot. But that's out. So now we're ready to put everything back together. So I've got everything laid out that I am going to need for today's work. I don't know if I'm going to finish it today, but we're going to try. But I am not going to rush. So first thing to go back in is going to be the water pump. So I need to get the thermostat in that I need to do before the water pump goes in, because I've heard that it's almost impossible to get it in after it's already in. So to put it in beforehand. So I'm going to do that. Put the gasket on. Here's all my bolts all laid out, which spot they're supposed to go in. And I figured these washers were actually the washers for here, because I thought they didn't have them on there. But when I went to clean the old water pump, just to scrape it off, just to have a reference so I could show both water pumps, the washers were actually stuck to the water pump with all the dirt and grease and everything. So I don't need them, but I've got them, I guess. So we'll start by getting the water pump in. All right, so that didn't take long. Going to put the thermostat in. Cheap AutoZone snap ring pliers. They don't open big enough. So Harbor Freight, here I come to buy another snap ring pliers. Son of a bitch. So, all right. Shiny new bits on. So the water pump is on. I'm not going to get done today. I know that. Forgot all the belt covers. I wanted to clean them. They were all full of oil and everything. So I want everything nice and clean when I put this back in. So, yep. So the oil or the water pump's in. Next is get the belt cover on and then start on the belts. Or the rear belt cover. The first one. All right. So the front main seal, I could tap it in, but I've heard horror stories again of that spring right there. See it right behind there, popping out when you tap it in and seat it. And the thing is you'll never know if that spring popped out until a year later when you start having oil leaks, or right away when you start having oil leaks, because there's no tension around that shaft because the spring popped off. So what I did was I went to Home Depot, got myself a coupler. Here's the number if you want it. So I'm going to put that on that like that. Put that like that. And I am going to take my bolt, and then I will just get that lined up, and I will tighten that down, and I will seat that nice and flush with even pressure all the way around, nice and slow, so that spring doesn't pop off, and I know that it is seated correctly. So awesome. All right, the seal is in, and there's no more nick in it. It sat pretty good.
So I am very happy with that. So now we'll get the new oil pump sleeve on and the O-ring, and then we can put the belts and rollers on, and the crankshaft, and the pulleys. All right, timing belt is on. Top dead center on the cam. Flywheel lock was on, so that never moved. Pump, can turn the pump. And then I was told also, if you can get that to 90 degrees, that's about the tension you want it also. So I don't have, the big expensive tool to test it. So, yeah. So that timing belt is on. I ran out of time today. That's as far as I got. So, it'll have to be next week. So, I'll post the videos, but that's how far we've gotten so far today.